so much for joining us for the R81 webinar. We've been working on this for quite some time now, and we're excited that you're taking time out of your day just to share some of your precious time to go over some of these new features. We're confident that you're going to find a very good use of what we're going to be going over this morning. For many of you that have joined us for prior sessions that we've hosted already throughout the course of the year, thank you for coming back. As you well know, we're here to make sure that we make good use of our time. So we're not gonna, nothing salesy here. We just want to focus on the features, make sure that we highlight these, the aspect of the product that we feel you're going to find interest in. For many of our advanced TAM customers that are on the call, we encourage you, and you continue to hear this trend. We encourage you to continue to reach out to the advanced TAM engineer that's assigned to your account to ask them further questions if you have. After the actual webinar has concluded. You'll have an email at the end of this presentation, which you can make a note of, is atam@checkpoint.com, and you'll have that posted at the end of this presentation. So if you have follow-up questions or something that comes to mind at a later time, please, we encourage you to go ahead and email us there. If you have questions regarding the advanced TAM service and how you could add it to your support contract, please let us know as well. We have a great group of panelists with us, like we've done time and time again. You can ask those questions also in Spanish if you like. We have the head of the actual professional services organization in Latin America, myself, Carlos Morera, like Pax mentioned just a few seconds ago. I head up the advanced TAM organization and professional services here for Checkpoint in the Americas. It's a great organization. We have a great group of people that have been in your shoes as customers, so we could definitely empathize with some of your pain points, especially the situation that you're currently experiencing day in and day out. So we have also a group of panelists that you can ask questions, like we mentioned, in Spanish and also in English, obviously. Please post those questions there. If your question is not answered, please follow up with us afterwards, and we'll make sure to get you answers to those questions later. And throughout the course of this presentation, we're going to have some questions that we're just going to pop out there as a poll, just to get your input. We want to make sure that we're providing you substance, right? And you find value in this information. So your feedback is very, very important to us. We know how your time is precious, and that's something you can't buy or can't get again. So we want to make sure that we're making good use of your time. Matt Lobin, who's one of our advanced technical account managers, has been with Checkpoint for many, many years, has been in various departments here within the organization. So we're very fortunate that he's part of the advanced TAM organization now. And he's taken the time to prepare this and provide us all the details that we feel are relevant to your day-to-day needs. So without further delay, thank you again for joining us this morning, and we're going to turn it over now to Matt.
Hey guys, good morning. Thanks, like Carlos said, thanks for joining. I know how time is limited. I know how time is valuable. You know, taking this 40 minutes out of your day is a huge investment on your part. So my hope is that I save you some time down the road. I've done the research, I've done the homework. I'm just gonna set it up there and give it to you. So with that, we're doing the R81, new and improved features and functionality. So I went through and picked out what I thought were 6 good features to talk about. And so what we're gonna do is go through those 6. I'll tell you a funny story first. Is I had this awesome, Lobin's awesome intro set up. I went to the grocery store this morning, I bought the cranberry juice. I was gonna play the Fleetwood Mac song, I promise you. I had it all together this morning, and I was gonna give it to you like that. I called 2 people this morning, and they're like, I've never seen that video, Matt, that TikTok video, I've never seen it. So I was just gonna look like an idiot with some cranberry juice, but I wasn't gonna waste the time I invested anyway. And the more I thought about this anyway, I mean, the poor guy, his truck just broke down. He's on his skateboard drinking cranberry juice, the worst day of his life, right? Well, no, it was the biggest day of his life because he got a huge commercial. He got a new truck, a lifetime supply of cranberry juice. So I call the guy a winner. But awesome story. You're going to check it out later. Awesome intro. Matt Lobin's awesome intro. With that, like I said, the agenda for today is about 115 slides in this next 40 minutes. I'm just kidding. It's we're going to go over the new features introduced in 81. We're going to go through the use cases, and I'm going to do a recorded demo that I did. So I went into the lab, I did the feature, I took the feature, and I presented it and recorded it, and I condensed it into a few minutes so that we could see the entire flow within the few minutes that I have with you guys. So like I said, we have 40 minutes. I want this to be an investment on your part. I want you to get some return on your investment. So let's just get started and get at it. The new features that we're going to go over today are these that are on the screen now. We have Central Deployment Tool. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. Awesome, awesome code. It's been around for a while, but now it's integrated into the console. Beautiful. It's going to save hours and hours and hours of our time. We have revision control now, but with steroids. It's on steroids. Now we have a reporting. It's a beautiful report. Tells you which rule, tells you which place it is in the rule base. It tells you which domain it's installed on. Great, great tool. We've done a whole lot with NAT Policy Improvements. With the ever-changing and dynamics of cloud and Akamai and all these different dynamic environments that we have to deal with as checkpoint administrators, is we have to deal with those dynamic spaces. We have to allow traffic. We have to secure the traffic. We have to know about the traffic. So R&D has done a great, great job here in this area. Another big thing just for me is cross-domain search. I'm so glad it's here. Now we can actually look for objects that are stored in any domain within the MDS stack. It'll tell us which domain it's in. It's a where used. I'll show it to you. Next thing is the spike detective. Now this thing is something I wish I would have had back in TAC, because what this is when we all hear the story of last night I had an issue on my network and they call it TAC, and the TAC engineer goes, well, there's nothing I can do for you. You have zero data for me. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to call when the issue happens. I've heard it, I've done it, I've said it. So now they've given us a tool called Spike Detective. I'll go over it, it's a cure for that. Last and not least is my favorite topic, the Infinity Threat Prevention Policy. I'll go through in depth on that. Like I said, I've got recordings. We'll go through these, we'll learn these, and I'm gonna dump them right on you. So with that, here we go. Central Deployment Tool. I've kind of given you the background on it. It's been around for a while. That's the beautiful thing about this code, is it's not like it's brand new code in R81. It's not like that. It's mature, it's been around. Some of our largest customers are using it. It was an investment to set up, let me say that. So the return on that investment, you had to really be a certain company of a certain size and deal with certain situations to really utilize this tool. Now, we all can use it. We all can use it. So with that, the Central Deployment Tool, it's now in SmartConsole. It allows upgrades between major versions. It allows us to install jumbo hotfixes. It allows us to install just regular hotfixes that might be given to you from CFG or R&D. Beautiful tool. We can do VSX upgrades. We can do cluster upgrades. We can do single stack upgrades. We support all the environments. The great thing about this too is you can use the offline installation packages. Upload it once to the MDS. If you're administering an MDS, just upload it to the global domain once, and it's available to as many domains as you have. It pulls from the same repository. So man, really a great tool. There's two things that I think are going to change the way that we do things, and CDT is one of them. Threat prevention policy is the next one, but we'll say that for last. But this one is probably one of my favorites, because who does it help? It helps me and you, the engineers. You know, I'm just like you. I got the sleeves rolled up. I'm under the hood. I got the wrenches. I'm in the trenches with my customers. I'm going to use this tool. So the use case for this is, you know, the huge reduction of operational overhead, right? Let me back up just a little bit and throw a challenge at you. I just thought of this earlier this morning, but I want to throw a challenge at you. I want to say, if you can do me a favor, call it a tip jar, call it whatever you want. But if you can think of some use cases in your own environment or a customer's environment, if you're a partner, or whatever your situation is, if you can think of a good creative use case and send that in, I would love to go through and read them. That's where I learn things. I learn things from you guys. So that's a tip jar for me. I'll pick out the 3 biggest ones, and if I can identify you through email or whatever, I'll get a shirt sent out to you. So please, please, please send in some use cases so I can enjoy the reading later. Use is huge. You're going to be able to impact the simplicity of this. I mean, I'll take gateways. Thank God we got, you know, the CPUs now, but now put that on steroids, and now we get this awesome integrated tool where we can send packages out to the environment with one mouse click, right? And we can just watch it. like I said, it supports clusters. I'll show it to you in my demo. It installs on the standby cluster member, reboots that member, fails over with no packet loss, no traffic degradation, and you get to upgrade now the standby member. So we have a full upgraded environment with the one mouse click. Don't have to worry about the failovers. Don't have to worry about the 10-page mop we have to write or the committee we have to talk to get this done. It's a simple process. And I thank R&D for this tool for sure. This is one of the main appreciative things that I have to send back to them. Like I said, I'm setting this up with, we're going to talk about the topic. We're going to talk about a use case. And I'm hoping that you guys send some things into the chat, some really creative use cases for these tools that I can read later. But this first demo is actually just uploading the package to the global domain. I have an MDS environment. It's just an ESX server. I have some firewalls. I have an MDS set up in the environment as well. And that's where I recorded all these demos from. So it's just vanilla everything, but this is an R8020 gateway cluster that we're gonna install a jumbo hotfix on. So right now it's just out there with no jumbo, just a vanilla R8020 cluster. And here we're gonna upload our R8020 jumbo hotfix package that we downloaded. Like I said, one time for the entire environment. So we'll go pick it, we'll go choose it, upload it, and then boom, hopefully I'm gonna fast forward this so you don't have to just watch, but it's that easy, done. Now you're good for all your environments, for all your customer environments on your MDS, that's it. So look how quick that uploaded, 5 seconds. No, that was fast forwarded greatly. It does take a little bit to upload this. It does take a little bit to push the package down to the clusters as well, because it has to not only has to copy the package over, has to extract the package, it has to install the package. So it's just like the process that we have to go through today locally on these boxes. The second demo we have here is the actual deployment. And this one's about 2.5 minutes. So I'll fast forward through some of it, but I want you, I guess I want us to understand how easy this process is. And I wish I would have had this 5 years ago. We're going to connect to the domain that manages the gateways, manages the cluster, and there's a new actions menu here called Install Jumbo. You see the version upgrade as well there as an option. Both are covered under the CDT tool. And so we choose the package that we just uploaded. We choose the cluster that we're going to install it to. You have the verify just like you have an installer. Same thing. If I wanted to be proper, I would have showed you the verify and then showed you the install. But we're a bit of a cowboy, so we're just going to go for the install here. On the left, I was showing these are just the two cluster members running a watch on CPHA probe stat, so that through this process we could see both gateways being upgraded, both gateways being taken offline as they need to, taking themselves out of the cluster. I think it does like a cluster XL admin down, and then it actually disables clustering, so it has no chance of interfering with our traffic here. So you can see down on, it's going to be the bottom one is going to be gateway 2. It's the standby member. It's going to be the one that installs first. So like I said, there is a process here. It extracts, it sends it over, it copies it over. It does a verification on the file. So there is a bit of a process here, but nonetheless, it's easy. And what I'm thinking of is even like we would have to come in at midnight, 10 o'clock at night, whatever, do these jumbo hotfixes. What I'm thinking of down the road is pushing this to your SOC or pushing this to your, to your overnight crew, because they'll have access to dashboard, and then just restrict access to only installing or whatever hot fixes or version upgrades here. I think that's a great idea. Long-term, it'll save customers a lot of money, save us a lot of headache. But you can see now it's installed on the standby member. It's out of the cluster. It's rebooting now. Wow, that was quick. It's already active. Now we go to what was the primary member, now going down to the secondary member, reboots, installs there. And depending on how you have your clustering set up, it's either we're going to return to gateway 1 being active, or it's going to stay on gateway 2 being active. I think on my environment, I had stay active on my clustering properties there. So thank you R&D for this tool. I think it's going to, like I said, save us hours and hours of time, hours and hours of presenting mops for every jumbo hotfix we do, every hotfix we install. So Thank you, R&D, for that. That wraps up the CDT. The next tool I want to talk about is revision control. Great tool. I've used it heavily back in the 77 days. Heavily used it back when I was a customer. This is great. We have it now in R80. It's a beautiful tool, but now we have revision control. But like I said, it's on a bit of steroids now. Now we can generate a report that lists usable data that we can see an audit of all the changes that were made from a particular publish. So all these revisions happen when we make a publish. It doesn't have to be an install. A publish will make this mark as well. So if I want to go back to a specific mark, I can go back and I can do some comparatives, and I'll show you this in the demo. This is just a sample report that comes up, tell you which access control layer, if it was in the threat prevention layer, or if it was just a change to an object color, an object IP, whatever it be. This is a great tool for auditing. If I have to roll back, we'll talk about the use case there. Use case. Something happened. Somebody made a change that caused email to go down. Well, we know it was good yesterday at 10 a.m., but we don't know all the changes that may have been made since that 10 a.m. mark. Well, now we can go in at that publish time, at that change, and list everything that's been changed in a nice, beautiful report from that moment to the actual install policy that we have today. So I can go back and roll it back to that time, maybe, and then I can go back and make all the individual changes that were made so that I'm back to, I can make those changes one at a time so I can see actually what broke things, right? If I identified what broke things, then I could just roll it back and just enter all the things that I know were had a reconstructed policy that worked. So like I said, guys, these are just use cases that I've kind of just thought of, just the first ones that came to mind. So please, if you have use cases in your own environment, you can think of something or a situation that this would have solved you in, please submit that. I'd love to read about those later. This is the demo of the revision. So let me get into this. So basically just an easy policy, right? 5 rules. Just going to add a rule here, restricting my internal LAN because everybody needs to get to AOL these days. So we're going to put AOL here in the service. So much traffic these guys are probably getting. So we need to drop it. We don't want to overload them. So we're going to publish it and install it. Great. Now we have our policy. Now we have our change. This not only the revisions are not just going to tell me the changes that me, the admin, have made, but it's going to list all the changes that, you know, Carlos has made or anyone has made to this gateway. I can go back and see the exact changes that they made, which object, which rule, in which domain. Just a nice, beautiful report. So you can see we have 2 options there. Select, we can compare it to the most recent policy that's installed now, or we can compare it to like the last policy that was in the list to see a comparison between 2 that were made at the same time. So we get this nice report now. You can see that let me just pause it here. So you can see right here, the nice report, we can see which layer. It was in my test layer network, my test layer policy. In my recording in the same session, I deleted and recreated it. So we see actually 2 changes here. Since I was going and doing and recording and going and doing the same thing over and over again, I didn't publish in between these changes. So now we see both. Now we see the deletion I made of the rule, and we also see the addition that I made to the rule. So a beautiful tool. I think this is going to come in handy in a lot of situations that I've seen customers just throwing up their hands going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what changes were made. It's a blind spot, Matt. I get it. I get it. Thanks R&D for closing it off for us, because this is, I mean, it really is something that I believe is going to save us in many, many, many situations. So great tool. Thanks for that. The next one that I wanted to talk about was the NAT Policy Improvements. I get it. It's been kind of stale for a while. It's been kind of the same thing, same screen, same options, same everything, kind of no flexibility, no nothing. It's really picky about what you can put in the source, what you can put in the destination. You're really, really, I would say, handicapped in a way of what you can do here. With the, like I said, with the ever changing of the environments with Akamai and O365 and all these cloud environments that are constantly changing IPs and working with DNS only, now we can get around that. Now we can use DNS to make an IP of an object and actually use it in a NAT policy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So these are some of the new objects that are supported in the rule base. Domain objects, updatable objects, like I said, security zones. Wow, we've been doing a lot of conversions between a competitor that uses security zones. Kind of a handicap there too in the conversion process because we can't read security zones in the NAT policy. So it really wasn't a true conversion. Now we can do that true conversion all the way and support the NAT objects as well. We support data center objects now for your cloud environments. You can use those in the NAT policy. Now there's a hit count in the NAT policy rule base. Yes. What else? My favorite, there's a name field in the NAT rule. Now we can name that rule and actually know what it belongs to, what it is, some kind of description for going back and communicating between us engineers that are managing this policy. So this is just a snippet of some of the things that can be done in here. The way the NAT policy can actually look now. It's beautiful, right? We don't have to have just one host. This is great now. We can support all those dynamic environments that we're having to deal with on a day-to-day basis and putting in bypass rules and HTTPS bypass by IP. Now we support dynamic objects there. So like I said, the ever-changing of what we have to deal with from a security perspective and dealing with these ranges of IPs and the ever-changing IPs, this is huge for us, right? Some of the things, I'll go through these real quick just because I want you to identify the objects that are in the policy. I left this slide as B. I'm not a real big fan of these, but I thought that this was kind of important so that we could actually see what these objects were, make a correlation of where they are used in the rule base. Security zones, we need that one. Domain objects, O365, data center objects for your cloud, dynamic objects. This is gonna be great for us. It's gonna solve a lot of problems and a lot of challenges that I'm seeing with my customers on a day-to-day basis. It's a frustration, yes, no more. R81 is gonna give us that flexibility that we can deal with this, and we don't have to bypass the traffic anymore. Let's deal with it. Let's inspect it. You know, let's perform what we're supposed to do as security professionals on that traffic, and not just bypass it because we can't deal with it. I think that's the wrong approach here. And thank you, R&D, for allowing us and giving us this flexibility to now we can secure that traffic, those dynamic environments that we couldn't do before. That was my use case. And like I said, please guys, I challenge you because I'm trying to think of things in my own mind of examples I can give my customers and the way I can at least pass that data along. That's the value, I guess, out of this position is I get to conversate with all you guys in the field. I get that feedback from you guys in the field. I get some great ideas, some great feedback. So please send that in. That would be very, very helpful to me. So my use case that I put in here was my internal traffic is destined for O365. We know that's a dynamic environment. We're not going to get one IP for O365. We know that. It's going to be a range and it's going to be changing and we're going to have to deal with that. I have some internal traffic destined for O365. Already has a public IP address, so it's going to be routable on the internet. And maybe we have some ACL for O365 and it has to match that source IP. Well, I'm thinking in my mind as a use case, I'm thinking all my internal traffic destined for O365, keep that traffic original on the source IP, dest IP. And that was my use case. I'm sure there are many more and I'd love to hear about them. The demo here is just that. It's just the demo of, here we are. Oh, here we go, demo. Why isn't it changing here? All right, sorry about that, guys. Zoom issue, let's call it. So here's my no NAT rule. This is our NAT rule base. Nice, we can put in a name here, right? I love it. All the dynamics we have here, so I'm gonna choose my internal LAN, just like my use case. I'm gonna go in here now. I get updatable objects as an option in my NAT rule base. Awesome. We can choose that as the destination. I don't have to have an IP or a range of IPs, and hopefully I guess them, hopefully they don't change. Now I can use an updatable object in my role base. So now it's gonna be, my role base is reading my internal LAN, destined for O365. I don't wanna hide NAT. I don't wanna source NAT. I don't wanna do anything I want to keep that traffic original and let it go to 365. Please, though, like I said, I challenge you for some good use cases that you guys might have for this, because I'm sure there are many. This is a huge improvement to the NAT policy rule base. Cross-domain search. I talked about this briefly. It doesn't seem like a huge tool when we just say, hey, we can search every domain now. That's awesome. You can search every domain for an object. That's great. Seems like a very small tool when we just say it like that, but it's not. It's huge. We can search any domain. Before, had to log into the domain, search for the object, click where used, and hopefully you were on the right domain. If not, you had to go to your second domain out of 35. So you can see the challenge there of trying to find an object that's hosted in one of your domains. My use case was this. And just like that, we have the challenge of looking for an object. And I thought I had, yeah, this is really what I was looking for. So we kind of talked about the use case, right? There's a challenge. I need to find an object. I'm scripting an API. I'm adding this object to a rule base. I have no idea what domain it's in. So my API script would be very helped out with some kind of search that I can do with my API. And then based on what that return is and where that object is, now my script can log into that domain, that system domain, and now it can perform whatever API changes, adds, deletes, whatever I want to do to that domain via script. And I think that's where the magic is for this. And I put this slide up here just to kind of emphasize this, right? Because I just don't see a whole lot of people logging in and just doing a search. It may help you here and there. You know, it's a powerful tool that may help you here and there. But I really think the magic in this tool is going to be the API usage, all the scripting and dynamics and this and that we can now do from the MDS process, because it was impossible scripting wise to go to a specific domain, make a change, unless you told that program, that script, exactly where to log in and exactly which policy, exactly all that. Now, I'm thinking the magic is really going to be in the API scripting, where I can actually do a search for that rule, search for that policy or anything that I need to make a layer, whatever, search for it, and then perform some action based on what I get back from that API query. And like I said, I really do think that that's where the magic is. That was my use case scenario. It's not really typed out that way, but that's what I had in my mind. Again, it's open. This is a brand new tools. So I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking out in the field. I'm sure there's some magical things that we can do out there with this new tool and via API. The global search, just so you guys know where it's at, you have to log into the MDS, right? And now we have a new tool or a new feature that's in the file menu of once you open up the MDS console, it's there and it's called Global Object Explorer. Search for an object name there, search for partial name there, whatever. It will pull up the object, and then the real beauty is in the where used, is what we get in the where used. And like I said, I think that data is what's going to be very, very helpful when we do our API scripting for database changes. I didn't do any API scripting here to show off that tool. I wish I would have had the time. Maybe that's a follow-up. Maybe that's something that I can do as a follow-up recording, whatever. But I didn't do that for this one. For the sake of time, I didn't have time. But nonetheless, I wanted to at least show you guys where this tool is in the database. So I'm logged into the MDS right now. I didn't really show you that, but I'm logged into the MDS level, which is .120 for me. I'm going to do a search here for my object, which is like customer A I have in my customer domain, one of my customer domains. So it pulls up here, the magic. The suspense was killing me. The magic is here, right? So this is what we would get out from an API call if we were doing a query. I can use this data that I get back, and I can do dynamic things along with my API. It's going to be huge for us. It's going to be really huge for the API coders out there, the API developers. It's a great tool if we're hunting for a host object. This is a great, powerful tool for that. Lastly, at least for the demos, or no, this is second to last. I'm sorry, second to last is Spike Detector. Last, we're going to talk about threat prevention. Spike Detector is what we spoke about briefly, right? This is the tool that I wish I would have had when I was back in the TAC years ago. I would have given this data back to the customer. It would have saved me hours on the phone. It would have saved a lot of headache for the customer. This data that we're getting here is very, very, very valuable to a postmortem call, to an RCA call, to that Monday morning quarterback call, and something happened over the weekend. When nobody was on, you had your SOC on only, nobody captured it. It's tough to deal with those calls. Now, thank you, R&D, we have the Spike Detector. There's an SK out there. I think I marked it earlier in the presentation, but I think this actually is an add-on that we can do on top of 8040. Might not be the total case, but go back and check out the SK. I think it will in some kind of add-on be an 8040, but nonetheless, it's turned on and functional and working in R81. Great tool. Like I said, it gives you the CPU spikes for some history, and it's in CP view, right? So yes, CP view only gives us a snippet of a minute, 60 seconds, but we have CP view history, which it's in as well. So you got 30 days of history. We can go back last week to when something happened, 2 weeks ago when something happened. No problem. I've got your data for you, network team. Here it is. Here's what caused it. Here's the CPU. Here's the flow. Here's the network. Here's the whatever. The process is what I'm going to show you in my demo. It could be a process. It could be CPD. It could be FWD, FWM, whatever. It could be a process that hosed up the gateway overnight. This is going to give you that data and give us something to work with. So talked about the use case here. And nonetheless, here's another one. Security team gets an alert from a network that all DMZ applications slow down overnight. I've heard this one over my 15-year career. So now, thank you, data can now be collected historically. That's the key, historically. Doesn't have to be, we have to be, it kind of stuck telling the customers is, hey, something happened last night. Well, why don't you stay up all night tonight running a TCP dump FW monitor and gather all this data for me in case it happens again? Bad conversation to have with a customer. I'm sorry that we had to have that conversation, but at least R&D is now giving us a tool that will be very, very, very valuable to us on doing those post-mortem conversations. Spike Detective, how it works. Like I said, it's in CP view, gives you this great bit of data, the spike, duration, the core that was being used. It gives you the start time, average duration. We've got all this, like I said, in CP view history, same data that would be found in CP view. We can now get in CP view history. So that's great. Going 30 days back. Thank you for that. Let me set the demo up real quick. How are we doing on time? All right, we're doing okay on time. The demo on this is I set it up like this. There's going to be 3 screens here. The one on the left is going to be CP view. The other thing I didn't mention about this tool, probably one of the most important to a lot of you is this isn't just in CP view history. It's also going to log DVAR log messages. Why is that so important? Well, now I know a lot of my customers personally, they do log forwarding on other syslog. They do log forwarding on all their notification logs that are getting sent to DVAR log messages. It's getting sent to a third party like Splunk or some third party conversion tool that they have. They're sending all this log data to. Now they can collect it in that tool. Now they can build reports off of it. Now they can build alerts off of it. Now they can build whatever. So I think the use case for this is going to be, working with these different teams on spikes. Now we can collect the data. We can alert on it. We can generate reports off of it from a third party now that we send it to DVAR log messages. So being able to deal with this is going to be very, very valuable here. So in the demo, like I said, what I set up was the left-hand side is going to be the CP view real time. The right-hand side, I'm just doing a watch on, I'm doing a tail on DVAR log messages so that I can see something show up there. And in the middle screen, I'm just pegging a core. I'm just doing a cat and pegging a core so that we can see this thing in action. So let's play this guy. Oh, there we go. Okay. Like I said, left-hand side, CP view, real time. I know this wouldn't be something that you're going to do in your environment, just waiting for something to happen, but we used it for the demo so that we can see at least that data will be recorded here, be recorded in CP view history, but also recorded in var log messages. So we'll do a tail there, kind of watch everything here while we're doing it. Like I said, the middle screen, we're going to peg a core. It takes about 12, 13 seconds here, but I just got this command. It's just going to take one core. I could run this over and over and over again and peg more cores out, but really we only need one for this demo. So I pegged one core out. You'll see an init statement here. It's kind of scary because it's unknown. Things are unknown, but it's only in init. Hey, we've got a spike going on. It's being initialized. So give it a little bit of time to catch up and we'll start getting some of the good data, where it started, when it started. So you can tell the network team, hey, do you have anything on the network that's grabbing packet captures between this time and this time? Because this is when the spike happened. So we see the spike in CP view, awesome, it's gonna be there. Tells you it starts with unknown, but like I said, it catches up, it identifies everything and it'll let us know. Speed it up. Let it go. There we go. I'm going to kill it. I killed the processes. This one, it actually reads it. I killed the process up top. Now you can see it say, because now it's going to have a start time and an end time. Now it's going to know which process. Now it's going to know the duration. Now it's going to know the CPU usage on that core. Now it's going to give us some data to work with to resolve that. Either it's an errant, service, FWD, FWM, something like that, or it's going to be some elephant flow or stream of data that we had overnight, and we'll get that. So if you see under the spikes menu, we have two options. We see the CPU spikes, but what I didn't show, and I didn't have a traffic generator to show it, was the thread spikes. And I think that's where the true value is going to come into this tool, because then we'll see more information about what the traffic was, where it came from, who it went with, and then we can either deal with the application and the application owners, or we can say, you know what, this was a firewall issue last night. Let me work with the tech, give him this data, and maybe it's some kind of misconfiguration or something we need a fix for, or something that's going on in that realm. But at least it tells us where to go to start troubleshooting this thing, and it gives us a place to start. It was like I said, it was a blind spot before. It really was. Something happened. We had no way. We had some stuff you could go back and smart log and see some things there. The audit logs, maybe some things there. Maybe there was a cluster failover or something like that happened, and that's all that we really get. But now, thank you, we can go back and pull this historical data and at least start getting some data to start building some kind of solution off of. So again, this is a great tool, great operational tool, great tool to give our SOC or our NOC or whoever's monitoring things overnight. We can give them access to this tool only, like I said. It's going into var log messages. If you guys don't know about log forwarding yet, read up on it. CP log forwarding. It's awesome. It's easy to set up. Put it in whatever format you want to put it into. Put it in whatever protocol. We can encrypt that traffic now too. So check out the log forwarding stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can build on and get some valuable data out of your gateways. And like I said, do some reporting or do some alerting and do some additional things there on that traffic. So with that closing off, I have to be honest with you. I didn't have this in my original presentation. I didn't. I knew that this was coming. I knew it was a tool. Unfortunately, we live a lot in the operations area, which steals our time from security. And I don't think that that's the way corporations are envisioning us living. It's just trying to keep our equipment up, which is part of the triad availability. I get it. That's part of it. But you're also missing the other two, right? We have to make sure that we have security in place. We have to make sure we're being secure. And what I'm finding a lot of times, unfortunately, out in the field and working with customers, and it's not my customers today, I promise you that. It's not my customers today, but I've seen it. Customers, I've seen the story. Hey, we're going on this big security binge. We're going to buy all these new shiny new tools. We're going to put them in. All the vendors that we bought them from have promised us that it's out of the box tuned, hands off, zero touch. It's going to be no operational overhead for our team. Just enable it, forget about it, and it's going to be a perfect security solution for you. Crap. I've heard that for 10 years. I've never seen a security product do this. Checkpoint is now doing it, and they're doing it right. And I was really blown away. I have to be honest with you. I was blown away. And as much as I like all these other tools, CDT is going to save us hours and hours of time. Awesome. But I think, like I said, the real beauty here in all of this R81 is going to be a catch-all for security. We have all these blades now, antivirus, antibot, threat extraction, IPS, all these different blades, and we're getting updates constantly, right? IPS update once every couple of weeks. Well, now 600 new signatures, we got to go out there and evaluate, analyze. I mean, that's a team of an army constantly going through these signatures, making sure they fit our environment, making sure they're not going to cause problems, making sure they're not very challenging on our CPU resources on our gateway. All these different things we have to analyze and make sure that they're working correctly and it's good for our environment. We have to spend time with that. An army, a whole division of team doing that. Now Checkpoint has come out with this awesome product, and I believe it's the first step of the new. I believe it's a game changer. I really do. Been in this industry for a long time. There are a few things I called game changers. One of those was Maestro, and that's on more operational side, CPU usage and sharing, and all about processing. It's like cloud-like architecture. And that's great on the operational side. But I think to accompany that and to be the game changer on the security side is going to be this new Infinity threat prevention product that we have. So now that I've built it up greatly in here and all that, let's actually take a look at what it is and what it does. Because I have to be honest with you, before I prepped for this presentation, I didn't know. And I didn't know how impactful it was. I didn't know how magical this tool is going to be for our customers, partners. The Infinity Threat Prevention is an accompaniment to all of our blades, I would say. So there's two ways that you can go now for security from Checkpoint. One, we can go down the manual road, which is great. It works, and it's if you've got the team to do this, and you can analyze it, make a policy that's built specifically for your environment, and you can do that. You can choose your blades. You can choose the different policies that you want on those blades. You can do all this manual process, take up time and valuable time of ours. Well, now we have an out-of-box solution. We really do, and I really see it working. And I'm putting my name on it. I really do see it working. You get out-of-the-box profiles. It's an easy selection of what might fit the different environment, maybe an east to west gateway. It doesn't have to be the same profile everywhere. It can be an east to west gateway. It can be an edge policy. It can be all these different CAM policies that we have. I think we have 5 or 6. Policies to choose from on this and what might fit your environment. Automatically updated, it's cloud hosted. So if anything changes, 0 day, a 0 day came out 2 days ago, I better do something with my policy. We're running Infinity, no problem. It's already there. We're done. And you've got the brightest and the best in Checkpoint research that do this day in and day out. That's all they do is analyze attacks, signatures, resolutions, resolves for those attacks. So leaning on those guys is fine with me. That's what they do. That's their thing. And they're very good at it. And thank you for their hard work. Now what can we do with all their hard work? Let's use it, right? Let's put it into practice in our environments if we want to, if we need to. But it'll be 0 day maintenance, right? We know, and I see like upper management just being able to sleep a little bit easier at night, knowing, hey, my policy is being backed by Checkpoint research. I mean, I could go to sleep at night and feeling a bit more comfortable than going, I hope to God my team of 1 went through 600 new signatures and evaluated those properly and put those in a block or detect state for each one of those signatures. This is great. We can lean on Checkpoint now. We can lean on Checkpoint research. I love this new feature. Deploying new security solutions. This was what I put in here for my use case, and I talked about it briefly. A lot of times it happens, right? Companies go out and they buy all this new security gear. Hey, we're going to be very secure because we have all these products. The problem is they never mature. We put them in, the vendor promises 0 touch out of the box. 6 months down the road, it's just a pass-through for traffic, and it's detecting traffic and generating reports that we never look at. It's doing all this. It was a pretty new solution, 6 months prior to putting it in, but now it's just a hop in your environment. It's just another thing analyzing traffic. So now let's put it on the gateway. It's seeing the traffic anyway, right? Seeing the traffic, let's block it there. We can generate reports there. We can audit there. Like I said, I put my name on this. It's a product that truly resolves that challenge. And not all customers have the resources to put into the analyzation of these policies. It's very, very complex, and it's getting more complex. So thank you, Checkpoint Research, for putting this together and resolving that complexity challenge that we had. My demo here is just going to show the new threat prevention, how we activate it, how easy it is to pick a policy, and how easy it is to implement it. I mean, 10 minutes, you're done, versus days and days, months and months, hours and hours, years and years, constantly evaluating new signatures, evaluating new attacks, a new OS in our environment. Whatever the case, we're always having to do analyzation every day. And it feels like we never get caught up. Thank you for this, man. This is going to resolve that. I'm truly, truly excited about it. It's the last thing I'm showing off, but I think it's the most important one I'm showing off. Because at the end of the day, we're security engineers at the end of the day. I know we get our hands dirty, greasy. We're always constantly doing things, but let me talk through this real quick. There's two, like I said, let me pause this real quick. See if I can go back. So these are the two options that we have now. When we go into activate blades, used to you just go in and you activate what you want, antivirus, and individually, let's pick a policy, let's customize it for our environment, each one individually. Well, now it's a radio button for threat prevention, infinity. We choose it, depending on which profile we pick is depending on which blades are enabled. So it's showing us with the default policy of infinity threat prevention, these are the blades that are going to be enabled by default and managed and analyzed and constantly updated by Checkpoint. Let me continue to play this now. So we're choosing infinity. Great, that's awesome. Now it's enabled on our gateway, on our 81 gateway. Now we can actually go into the security policies. You'll see now we've got an infinity threat prevention option here. This is awesome. This is web-based. So it's a web-based inside the console. So we can choose these things, drag and drop, do this very intuitive tool to be brand new like this. Let me go back. Sorry, guys. Let me go back. I wanted to make sure I showed you guys this. Yeah, so this right here. So this is our profiles that we have to choose from. We have these 5. That's great. It's given us a small description there, but the main thing I wanted to show off here was the help me decide option. I think I may have clicked it in the demo, but it'll give you an idea of what each one of these profiles are, what they do, how they're configured out of the box, which one we choose. So I think, yeah, good. I went to help me decide. So you get this nice graphic here, and it's going to tell you each one of the profiles, what's enabled inside the profile by default, you know, exactly what's going on in each one of these profiles. So we choose the profile that we want, enable it, push policy, and we can rest easy knowing that policy is secure. Because I tell you guys, I'm a TAM. I've been a TAM for several years now. I've worked with a lot of customers. There's a lot of questions that I get in this department of threat prevention. How do I set it up? Is it set up right? Do I have to worry about this new attack? Matt, can you check this out? Matt, can you check that out? I'm hearing this in the field. I went to this webinar and they're talking about this new thing out in the field that I have to worry about. Don't worry about it. We can just validate now. We can just validate and that's it. We don't have to research. We can just validate. This tool is really, I believe, is going to be a game changer in the way Checkpoint does things, in the way our field does things. And this tool is only going to get better. And like I said, on this, we can drag and drop our detect only or whatever we want to do. Our bypasses here, just drag that object right out of our console and put it in here. And your detect is done, or your override, your bypass is done. So that's the really exciting tool that I had to show about. Next one real quick on time, guys. I know I'm probably light on time here, and I know it's valuable time for you, but these are features that I at least wanted to mention because there's some big ones in here that might be specific to your environment. And please, like I said, if you guys have any of these that will be, you know, great for your environment, a great story, a great resolve for a challenge you have, please submit. I'd love to read through them. There's some things in here about VSX we've dealt with for a long time. VTIs and VPN. It's never been supported until now. DNS per VS. Proxy server per VS. The big one for me, because I do so many VSX upgrades, is now we can downgrade the VSX object through the VSX utility, right? So before, to tell the story, if I'm going to upgrade a VSX cluster, I go upgrade the appliances themselves, upgrade them to whatever R81. Now I have to go to the management side and upgrade that object to R81. The problem with that is once I upgrade the object to R81, you know what my rollback option is? To revert the whole MDS or revert the whole management server back to the version it was before I did the VSX util upgrade. That was the rollback. Not anymore, guys. Not anymore. Now, VSX util downgrade. Awesome. I'm going to use this, I promise. VSLS, if you're using it, it seems like to me that that's really a field that's being developed on a lot. So it seems like the active customers want more active. If I'm using a box, why can't I use it, right? VSLS, the active, we're seeing a lot of. So it's something that I'm seeing a lot of development in as well. Lastly, guys, just some notable features here to wrap things up. Something you're going to start hearing about a lot, and if I would have had more time, I would have talked about it a lot, is this new feature called accelerated install policy. So we've heard for a long time about this. It only installs the diff. It only installs changes. A lot of that stuff is coming to fruition now. There are some unsupported options, just like it was when we first started accelerating traffic, right, with Secure Excel. Same thing. There were some limitations there, but it was great. It worked and it helped and it just got better, right? And that's what I think about this tool is accelerated install policy. Same thing. I see it as being something that's going to be developed on. I see it helping our long install policies, our customers that are having the long install policies. I see that being trimmed down a whole lot, and I wish I would have had some numbers to share with you. And maybe that's something we do want to follow up as well. 1.3 HTTPS TLS. We can now inspect 1.3 traffic, TLS 1.3 traffic. It's out there. It needs to be inspected, right? It's heavily used, something we have to take a look at. Bypass doesn't work. We need to inspect that traffic as well. 1.3 is now supported. Concurrent install policies. Yay, right? I don't have to wait till somebody else gets installing a policy before I can install mine. Concurrent install policies. That's going to help a lot with operational overhead. Another tool that's big, I know, my buddy Dan had spoken about it in previous R80.40. It's only getting better. Dynamic balance core Excel. SNDs, firewall workers. Do I have enough firewall workers? Do I have enough SNDs? Am I the right tune for this environment? And you can't just give me one because it could be different for the next environment, for the next cluster I do in my environment. So there's no one size fits all with the balance that we were doing before. That was manual. Thank you, Dynamic Balance, for fixing that. Support for GRE tunnels. It's going to be huge for our cloud guys, right? So we can now get layer 2 traffic up to the cloud or get layer 2 traffic wherever we want. It could be a backup VPN tunnel for the cloud that now supports GRE, whatever. I think that's going to be huge. Azure Active Directory support is now there. All my Azure customers are going to be very, very happy with this one too, because a lot of them are heavily utilizing the Azure Active Directory for everything now and kind of migrating to that. So the support for that's also going to be huge for R81. Guys, that really completes the topics that I had time in this very small time together. We didn't have much time. I wish we had a half a day because truly, being a fan of Checkpoint, I could talk about these features all day with you, and it never gets old. I'm a Checkpoint fan. I really believe in Checkpoint. I really believe that the best is yet to come, because every version that I get, every version that I do a presentation for, every time I do this, it always blows me away with the new stuff that we're doing, the new stuff that's going on, even with the environment, even with what we're having to deal with as security professionals, blown away. So I truly believe with R81, with R80, whatever that's coming next, I truly believe that the best is yet to come with Checkpoint. With that, wrap it up, guys. Thank you for taking the time out today. We had a great response to this. Our internal guys, our partners, our customers, whatever the case be, whatever your perspective is, however you're dealing with the product, I call you family. I call you Checkpoint family. In this together. I love the collaboration. I can't wait to read some of the stories, hopefully, that you entered. I can go back and read some of the things that you guys have going on in your environments. Like I said, the collaboration is awesome. I love the Checkpoint family. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I'm an ATAM. It's a service I provide to some of my customers. It's something we have in professional services. If you have any questions or, hey, Matt, I really wish you would talk about this next time, email it into atam@checkpoint.com. Put Matt on it, whatever. It'll get forwarded to me. Let us know. Let us know as a team. Let us know as an organization. Let us know what might be fulfilling for the next topic or something you're dealing with or if you have questions about the ATAM service. It's an awesome service. I signed on for it. Like I said, I can always tell the game changers. I always know the game changers, Maestro, Threat Prevention Infinity. Well, I truly believe TAM is one of those as well. We partnership with our customers. I'm there during change windows. I'm there during the bad times. I'm there during the good times. I'm a partner. I've been to retirement parties of my customers. That's how involved I am with my customers. So it's a partnership. It's a family that we have with my customers. Thank you to my customers specifically for joining. I told them last minute, thank you guys for joining. But that's kind of just to wrap it up, guys. I love what R81's bringing. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it out in the field and how you guys are going to use it. I really wish you guys the best rest of your day, the best rest of your week. You know what I'm saying? It's just cheers, guys, right? It's just cheers. I worked on this. It's just cheers. Hey, I'll see you down the road, guys. Thanks again for your time today for the presentation. It'll be recorded. We'll send it out. You can see it on Checkmates. If you haven't checked out Checkmates too, get involved in Checkmates. Valuable information you're going to find there. It's worth your time, I promise. But nonetheless, hey guys, thanks for your time today. Have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you down the road. Cheers.
Thank you for your energy, Matt. We appreciate you.
No problem. No, I love it. I love it. I truly do. I love talking about something that I love, right? So it's easy.
Matt, I gave you my hosting privileges. If you see the bottom corner red button, leave, can you end for all? Thank you.